The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. What do we do with the agony of loss? The sorrow that floods us when something we deeply love comes to an end? What about the aching sense of isolation we call loneliness? Or the jealousy that consumes us and quietly sabotages our relationships? The answer may sound simple, even absurd, but it lies at the heart of non-dual wisdom. Do absolutely nothing. Not in the sense of passivity, but in presence. For when it comes to emotions, the more we try to do, the more we suffer. This realization has completely transformed my life, but to see it clearly, we must understand the illusion we've been caught in. Most of us live in duality, in the split between the subject and the object. There is a me who feels, thinks, and acts, and then there are my thoughts, emotions, and actions. The observer stands apart from the observed. This is the root of suffering. In that division, space is born. And where there is space, there is time, and in time there is suffering. Let's take jealousy as an example. Say my wife leaves me, and I see her with another man. Immediately jealousy arises. That's the fact, the raw emotion, point A. But then comes the observer, point B. It remembers the past, when things were good. Then it imagines a future where jealousy vanishes, point C. This creates the illusion that jealousy is something separate from me. The mind says, I shouldn't feel this way. Resistance is born, and in resisting, we introduce space, a gap between ourselves and the emotion. Just as physical space creates physical time, it takes time to walk from one place to another, psychological space creates psychological time. And in that time, we try to escape what is. We chase the woman again, dive into rebound relationships, drown ourselves in distractions like alcohol, work, or therapy. Maybe we get angry, projecting our inner pain onto others, but every action we take to escape that emotion only strengthens it. Why? Because we are reacting, not responding. We are running from a part of ourselves. The jealousy is not outside of us, it is us. But the observer, the ego, creates space between me and jealousy. That's the illusion. All emotions, sadness, anger, fear, live only in psychological time. They're part of the ego's machinery. And the ego only exists in time, never in the present. Where there is only now, there is no separation. Only presence, only pure being. This space between observer and observed is why we cannot sit with pain. So we numb it, run from it. But pain doesn't leave because we avoid it. It lingers in the shadows, shaping our thoughts, behaviors, and destinies, all without us realizing it. That's why the same emotional patterns keep returning again and again. There is no true healing, only escape. And escape is not understanding. We blame parents, schools, and governments for our conditioning. But we rarely ask, what drives this conditioning? Without emotional reaction, we wouldn't be programmable. Fear makes us work ourselves to exhaustion. Envy makes us chase status. Loneliness makes us seek validation. Every reaction is an attempt to fix an emotion we see as separate from ourselves. But this very separation is why the emotion persists, and we remain trapped in the loop. This entire mechanism, or of emotion causing thought, thought resisting emotion, and action arising from that resistance, is based on a single illusion, that there is a me who is separate from what is being felt. Yet if we truly see clearly, we realize there is no thinker apart from thought, no observer apart from the observed. The whole structure collapses. This is non-duality. In the heart of Eastern traditions, reality is not two, it is one. And in that oneness, time does not exist and neither does suffering. Sam Harris said it well, there is no unchanged self riding on a boat on the river of consciousness. Human consciousness is an endless flow of thoughts, emotions, and sensations. The illusion that a self is observing that river is the root of our misery. If you see clearly that thoughts and feelings are just movements, just happening, and there is no one behind them, then suffering disappears. Not because you did something, but because you did nothing. You watched, you surrendered, you allowed, And when that happens, you go beyond time, beyond samsara, the endless wheel of suffering. The subject dissolves into the object. The observer becomes the observed. Only pure being remains. Now let's look at loneliness, another raw emotion. When loneliness arises and we label it, "I'm lonely," we separate ourselves from it. That word activates memory, past experiences, and future fears. The moment you label it, you are no longer with the sensation. You are with the idea of it. And so you run. You look for people, partners, distractions, but loneliness remains because you didn't feel it. You fled from it. Every emotion has an energetic charge. If you don't allow it to fully express and exhaust itself, that energy recycles. It forms new patterns. You keep repeating old reactions. Jiddu Krishnamurti once asked, "Can you observe without the word? Can you feel loneliness without calling it that? Because if you can, it's no longer a threat, it's just a sensation. Like wind on your face, it blossoms, reveals itself, and fades. No resistance, no escape, just pure observation." And in that observation, you may see something beautiful, that loneliness is a side effect of the ego's endless pursuit of pleasure and avoidance of pain. Like countries drawing borders for protection, the ego builds walls for safety, ambition, comfort, image. But those walls become prisons. Loneliness is not the absence of people. It is the result of living in separation. We seek love not because we are full of it, but because we are empty. An empty cup seeks to be filled, but a heart overflowing with love doesn't seek. It gives. When you stay with the feeling, truly sit with it, you start seeing patterns. You realize relationships don't heal loneliness. In fact, they often amplify it because you are not present, you are escaping. But once clarity dawns, it transforms you. The compulsion to seek love fades. You become love. This is not mental understanding. This is wisdom born from experience. As we observe each emotion without judgment or labels, the loop of self-sustaining identity begins to unravel. We see how ego and emotion feed each other in a cycle of suffering. And as that cycle breaks, we return to what we always were: unconditioned presence, freedom. Modern spiritual teachers often say we are not our thoughts or emotions. We are the awareness behind them. While this can be helpful, for many it becomes yet another identity, a spiritual ego. And that's dangerous, because now, instead of dissolving the ego, you've spiritualized it. You've created a new self, a more enlightened one. But it's still a self, and it still suffers. Carl Jung once warned, "Beware of wisdom you haven't earned. It can become poison." Forget the feel-good teachings and borrowed beliefs. Stay with what's real, what's in front of you right now, this moment, this sensation, this breath. In truth, the path to peace doesn't lie in trying harder or fixing yourself. It lies in doing nothing, allowing, being, feeling. Because all things born in time eventually dissolve. Every sensation, no matter how painful, will fade if you let it. This art of doing nothing brings everything to the surface. It reveals your pain, your conditioning, your truth. It sets you free. But doing nothing requires solitude. You can't truly be still around others. We're conditioned to speak, to perform, to hide behind images. In conversation, we live in time, thinking, reacting, projecting. Perhaps that's why Blaise Pascal once said, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." That is meditation. Not repeating mantras or controlling breath. True meditation is the delicate art of doing nothing, just watching, just being. In that stillness, insight arises. Wisdom is born, not from books or gurus, but from direct experience. No labels, no judgment, no illusion of separation. When you are angry, you are anger. When you are sad, you are sorrow. When you are lonely, you are the fullness of that frequency. There is no my anger or your sadness. There is only human emotion. Universal consciousness moving through a body, a field of energy expressing itself. And as long as we strive to be someone, or to be better, freer, more spiritual, we stay stuck. We become machines reacting to programming. But when you realize that what you are has no center, in that you are a flow, you are free. Free from the false dualities of thinker and thought, observer and observed. Peace, joy, and liberation are not places to arrive at. They are what you are, right now. When time dissolves and presence remains, you just have to be, especially when it's uncomfortable. That is the beginning of freedom.